We got some updates here for Xbox Game Pass. Of course, they had the price increase yesterday. I did my video on that yesterday if you wanted to go and check that out. But there are also upgrades that are coming in, games that have just been dropped into the service that really nobody is talking about right now. So we will take a look at that. There looks like there could be a remaster for a game that a lot of people would love to see come back. Fingers crossed that this is true. PS5, they have released their new version of the console. There's some layoffs, and Ubisoft and Tencent, the new studio where they will be working together on some of the biggest franchises. It is now here. It is now opened, and they are going to be beginning. Now, before we do get into it, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, share the video, like the video if you enjoy today's show. Really does help me out, especially right now as the algorithm has been all crazy. You'll see a lot of content creators talking about that. But for now, let's get into the news. So one of the things with Xbox Game Pass now that has happened across all of the tiers of the service is that Xbox Cloud Gaming is now included in the service, and it is getting a big upgrade where it's finally out of beta. It's getting a better resolution. It's finally getting that 1440p resolution which should make games look much better when you are streaming them on whatever device that you're playing Xbox Cloud Gaming. They're also upping the bitrate quality of Xbox Cloud Gaming streams. This comes here from The Verge, and they say here that Xbox has come out and say we're officially removing the beta tag from Xbox Cloud Gaming. This comes via Dustin Blackwell, the director of gaming and platform communications at Microsoft. And the beta tag, with that being removed, they say we'll have our highest streaming quality yet for Ultimate subscribers. It'll go up to 1440p for select games and select devices and still deliver the shortest wait times for players. And some of the games that we've already seen with this 1440p quality, I think Digital Foundry actually was able to unlock this before this was officially announced. And one of the games is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which is a very good game and a beautiful looking game that I think will definitely benefit from 1440p support, as well as the peak bitrate here of 27 megabits per second. And they say most cloud gaming streams average around 10 megabits per second right now, with some devices able to access a better 17 for the stream. An upgrade to 27 should greatly reduce artifacts and improve the visual quality of game streams. And I think that will be the case. They also do mention here that it actually looks like it's going to be specific hardware right now for 1440p, but I would assume in time that will expand out to more hardware. They don't say specifically though which ones will get this upgrade. And the company was asked, Microsoft was asked for comment whether it's PC-like hardware that is using this or whatever, but they haven't said fully exactly what that will be. I'm assuming probably be your browser, or probably more PC-like stuff that will get that for now. I wonder if it will work on the phone, although you have to also think about the fact that phones, small screens, you probably don't really need the 1440p, but the higher bitrate would be nice if you do have artifacting when you are playing. I know for myself specifically, cloud gaming has been very good now for a while, especially when I'm out and I'm just on the mobile network. Like I plug in my controller to my phone and the games run very good. I actually sometimes have better experiences out there on my phone than I do at my home, depending on how my Wi-Fi is going and the amount of things connected to my network. So cloud gaming to me is a feature I've been using a lot more. I'm very happy to see these features. And this is one of the things that they've added into the Xbox Game Pass increase and change in their overall tiers. Now, the other thing that they are expanding upon is the unlimited usage. You're going to be able to get that in Ultimate, but also special perks for Game Pass members. Again, these are all things that everyone was talking about the price increase, as did I yesterday, but these are things that people just didn't, I guess, went under the radar simply because everyone's focusing on that $30 price tag here for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. But here are some of the other features that are coming to the various tiers, perks, all of that type of stuff. They say here that the Essential Library is now fully playable on PC, which that is a great thing. That's one of the things I did mention in my video yesterday. One of the changes I actually do really like is the fact that across the 3 tiers you sign up for, you're getting access to any device that plays Xbox. And then they also have on the side their own PC subscription service. So if you don't want to play on console, you don't want to play on the cloud and stuff like that. They say here that games like Hades, City Skylines, Remaster, Stardew Valley, Warhammer 40,000 Darktide, those will all be going over, plus the rest of the catalog. And you also get unlimited cloud gaming, allowing you to play games, including select games you own, on the devices you choose, giving you more freedom to play your way. And they say that cloud gaming is also expanding in premium. Subscribers now enjoy unlimited cloud gaming, including select games you own and newly added in-game benefits in some of the biggest games like League of Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege X, instantly unlocking cosmetics, characters, and more to enhance your gameplay. So if you're somebody who's into that type of stuff, that'll be a nice addition to you. And they say Ultimate subscribers exclusively enjoy the best quality of streaming and shortest wait time, so it's easier to jump into the favorite games. That has to do with the 1440p and everything else that is included with that. They also add Fortnite Crew. Now, this is something that I'm not a Fortnite player, so it's not really anything that I care about as an addition to Game Pass Ultimate. One of the things I have been hearing in terms of comments on my video on social media, and I kind of agree with this, it would be great if Xbox gave you maybe an a la carte version of Game Pass, where if you don't want the Fortnite stuff and you don't want the Ubisoft Plus stuff, you just want the first party Xbox games and just the general Game Pass subscription, maybe they have a tier selected just for that. But I do think this Fortnite Crew stuff will be pretty big for a lot of people, simply because of how big Fortnite is. There will be a lot of people out there that are currently subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate who play Fortnite a lot, and they see that they don't have to pay the separate subscription for Fortnite, will be very happy with this as an addition. I feel like there's actually a lot of players. I'm sure they looked at the numbers and stuff before they added stuff like this into the sub service. But this is a $11.99 subscription, so a $12 subscription. And basically, what you're getting with this is the Battle Pass, the OG Pass, the Lego Pass, and Music Pass, as well as special items and 1,000 V-Bucks every single month. And I'll be completely honest, I don't really know what any of that means because I don't play Fortnite. I guess the V-Bucks allows you to buy skins. I'm sure there are Fortnite players that do watch my show. So let me know in the comments how big of a value this is if you are subscribed to this Fortnite subscription service, Fortnite Crew, and if this is something that actually gets you excited that they've added it into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. The other thing here that is overlooked was Game Pass has added 95 new games to the service with this whole overhaul of Xbox Game Pass. So 95 games. A lot of them are Ubisoft games from the Ubisoft Plus games, tons of Assassin's Creeds. You have the Prince of Persia games, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, which is a phenomenal game. And Hogwarts Legacy has dropped into the service. So if you haven't played that game yet, that is now available here on Xbox Game Pass. So tons into Ultimate. There's a huge list. Go check that out. There's tons in Premium as well. And then there is a smaller list here for Essential that is getting an addition here. The four games that are going to Essential, which is going to be the lowest here, would be City Skylines Remastered, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Hades, and Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. But in total, it's about 95 plus games that have been added to the service since the overhaul of Xbox Game Pass. And I talked about this in my video yesterday. For me, I'm still going to stay on Ultimate because of the amount of games I play and just the variety, whether I jump into a game and play 5 hours or 20 hours or 3 hours. I try a bunch of different things, so the value is definitely still there for me, but I can see people now at $30 if they don't use it nearly as much, or if they're just there for like a single game or two games or something, unsubscribing from this service. We will see exactly how it goes, but Game Pass has now changed, and these are some of the additional things that are coming to it. Now, we also got some news here. This is a rumor, and I really hope that this does end up coming true, because this is a game in a series that I think needs to be brought back in one way or another. I would like a remake, or I would like a new entry into the series built from the ground up. But if we're going to get a remaster with improved controls and improved graphics, then I will just take that as well. And that is Prototype. It looks like Prototype could be getting a new remaster, as evidence has been discovered. And this here comes via a post on the Prototype subreddit suggesting that a Prototype remaster might just be in the works, from user Stanley Mitchell, sharing several screenshots on the Discord, in a Discord conversation, of what appear to be Prototype images. And they say Prototype received a surprise update on Steam in September 2025. And one of the OG modders for the game's data mined the recent update and has found a lot of interesting things. They say it's claimed Iron Galaxy Studios is attached to the project, which is under the Activision umbrella and handled Spyro Remake Trilogy, and that they are remastering the game. The fact that they have a studio attached to this, to me, makes me think that this rumor is going to end up coming true. Iron Galaxy does make sense as a studio who's worked on previous remakes, remasters, and stuff to go ahead and remaster this game. So that has me even more excited for this potentially coming. The Prototype absolutely should be coming back here. If Xbox is smart here, they'll take this IP and they will give us a new version of the game, a remaster, a remake, whatever you end up wanting to call it, because you could do a lot here. And this is a superhero game. You're flying around, you get superpowers, and it's just really fun as you jump around the city and as you get stronger, kind of in the vein of Crackdown, but definitely different with mutations and stuff. So very cool game. I hope this happens. I am a fan of it. And I actually just discovered this, I think, a couple of years ago. I knew about the game, but I played through them again a few years ago, which made me remember it and realize how much fun they were. So I do hope that this one does end up coming back. PlayStation 5, they have officially released the new PS5 Slim with less storage. They are coming out here with the PS5 digital, the same price, 499 euros, but instead it is coming with 825 gigabytes of internal storage rather than the 1 terabyte. Just kind of a silent release, I guess you could say, kind of trying to send this under the radar. Obviously, people were going to catch on to this, as you can easily see that there is less storage on the console itself. You see right there in the corner, it says 825 gigabytes versus the 1 terabyte. Now, YouTuber Austin Evans discovered the change in a teardown video and posted it, confirming here that they have reduced the overall size of the internal storage, which is unfortunate. I mean, it brings it back to where it originally launched, and I guess people didn't have too many issues with that. You can expand the storage and everything, but the same price is the weird thing here. You think that they would reduce the price because it's going to cost them less to put 825 gigabytes rather than the 1 terabyte into this console. You think they would reduce the price, even if it was by like $20 or something, and then it would probably sell even better at that point if they just reduced the price down to maybe $479.99. Amazon, they have a subscription service. It seems like no one ever really talks about this one. I didn't even honestly know it was still prominent and still kind of around and people use it, but I guess they do. Luna here, Amazon Luna. They actually have completely redesigned their subscription service at the same time that Xbox Game Pass has. But we have this report here. Amazon has completely redesigned Luna with party games, including an AI Snoop Dogg courtroom title. And Luna launched in 2022. They were looking to take on the cloud gaming area and become very prominent in that. I don't think it's taken off as much as they thought, but it's still around, so it must be making them some money. But they say here that the biggest changes to Luna as a part of this revamp is Game Night, which Amazon pitches as a way to get players who aren't interested in traditional consoles invested in games. And that was always my thought when I heard about Amazon, heard about Netflix, and all of these companies trying to get into gaming, them trying to get into AAA, into the console space, into the hardcore gaming market. It would be very hard because the majority of their customers are not hardcore gamers. They are casual gamers at best, probably play mobile games. So introducing something like this actually does make a ton of sense here from Luna. They say all Game Night games are designed to be played together with family and friends for maximum laughter and connection. And finally, a reason for parents to not tell their kids to put their shoes away. And right now, the most prominent game on here is Courtroom Chaos starring Snoop Dogg, which is actually hilarious to see. You can see some of the other games, like they have Angry Birds. They still have some big games here, Borderlands 3, Hogwarts Legacy, Top Spin, Dead Island 2, but they're adding in the whole game night thing here in order to try to get more party, probably for families, things like that, and appeal to that base, which I think they'll have way more success with that type of stuff. Ubisoft and Tencent, as we know, they made a deal a while ago, and it wasn't that Tencent was buying up Ubisoft. It was that they were increasing their investment and they were going to help lead a new studio for the development of games like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. Well, that new subsidiary here has opened up Vantage Studios, which is now going to be taking over those franchises. And we'll see exactly what comes out of this. But this is the report. The breakout game development business co-owned by Tencent and Ubisoft finally has a name. That is Vantage Studios. And the Eurogamer here understands from a source that it's starting operations today. And Vantage Studios will have about 2,300 employees across multiple Ubisoft game development teams in Montreal, Cherbourg, Saguenay, Sofia, and Barcelona. So this is a big team because it holds some of their biggest, if not their biggest franchises, especially with the Assassin's Creed franchises. And specifically, it's Far Cry, Rainbow Six Siege, and Assassin's Creed. All three of those are their biggest. You think about Rainbow Six Siege and just how long that game has lasted, the amount of money they make off of that, the microtransactions, and they continuously improve upon it. So that is a big thing. They say that Vantage Studios operates under a less centralized model compared to Ubisoft proper, with each development team having more ownership over its own respective project. And this, in theory, would allow developers to be more fluid and pivot according to industry changes and player expectations. So they're working on those big ones. My biggest question and my biggest concern out of all three of those is going to be Assassin's Creed. How will Tencent influence Assassin's Creed? Will they really have a big negative or even positive influence on the franchise? Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake is coming basically from all the stuff that we have heard. So that'll be the next big one in the series. But going forward in the next bigger open world RPG or even the smaller ones, what will be the difference? Will there be a difference, or are they just going to continue with doing what has made Assassin's Creed successful? Because whether you're a fan of the games or not, even with Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I think is a great game, the franchise has been successful, and it proved it again with the sales and everything of Assassin's Creed Shadows. So I don't think Tencent needs to go in there and have big changes, sweeping changes to that franchise at least. And finally, Funcom, the studio behind Dune Awakening, which I think is a game that did pretty well. A lot of people talked about it and were exciting about it. And they say that it was the biggest release across its 32-year history. Well, apparently not big enough, as they have announced layoffs despite the franchise doing well. They say here that the game has already shown incredible potential, and the right way forward is to focus our internal resources on releasing new content, features, and enhancements. And the transition from development to long-term live operation, while also building towards a major console release next year, will require us to restructure our teams and focus our resources from across projects and studios. Unfortunately, this means having to say goodbye to cherished colleagues. This difficult process is starting now, and we cannot yet determine the exact impact. We are working to find new opportunities for those affected. Now, again, interesting here because it is their biggest release that they've had in a 32-year history, which is a long time here for a studio. And you would think, okay, this means everyone there is fine. They're going to all be able to work on the game to get more content to it and everything and expand it out as they say that they are doing. What we're learning, though, right now in the gaming industry is that even if you have a successful game, there are still probably going to be layoffs because they need to get those margins better. They need to make more money. And one way to do that is to get rid of people who won't be contributing as much to the game going forward. I wonder if they're going to be implementing any AI into the studio for the next steps for this game. But yeah, it's unfortunate again for the people who have lost their jobs and now out there looking for a new one. But that's it for me today. I'm going to end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. We'll be right back.